Who knew that a little boy from Queens, New York would grow up to become one of the most iconic figures in adult entertainment? In the heart of Queens in the year 1953, Ronald Jeremy Hyatt was born into a quintessential middle-class Jewish family. His parents, Arnold and Rose, were hard-working people who wanted nothing but the best for their son. Growing up, Ron was a bright, curious child, showing an early affinity for the arts. His passion for theater became evident when he was just a kid. He would participate in school plays, community theaters, and would often be seen practicing his lines in the mirror. His love for the stage led him to pursue an education in theater arts, dreaming of one day seeing his name up in lights on Broadway. However, destiny had a different script for Ron. His dreams of Broadway fame were about to take a backseat to a career that would make him a household name in a completely different industry. But life had different plans for our theater-loving young man from Queens. Sometimes the path to stardom takes an unexpected turn. And indeed, it did for Ron Jeremy. A man with a master's degree in special education and teaching, Ron found himself in a drastically different field in the late 70s, the adult film industry. It wasn't a career shift he had planned, but rather one he stumbled upon. Having been laid off from his teaching job due to budget cuts, Ron was struggling to make ends meet. A girlfriend suggested he try his hand at adult films. Initially, he was reluctant. The world of adult entertainment was far removed from the classrooms and lesson plans he was accustomed to. But with bills piling up, Ron decided to give it a go. The industry was a shock to his system, a world he never imagined he'd be part of. But he was determined to make the best of his situation. He brought an everyman quality to his roles that resonated with viewers. He was not the stereotypical adult film actor. Ron was average-looking, a little overweight, and far from the chiseled figures that dominated the industry. Yet it was this very ordinariness that set him apart. In a realm of fantasy, he represented reality, and people loved him for it. He quickly gained a fan base, and his popularity skyrocketed. Producers and directors took notice, and before he knew it, Ron was a sought-after performer in the industry. His everyman appeal was a breath of fresh air in an industry often criticized for its unrealistic portrayals. His rise to fame was swift. He was everywhere, from the covers of adult magazines to starring roles in high-profile films. He even earned a nickname that would stick with him throughout his career, the Hedgehog, a testament to his resilience and ability to thrive in the most unexpected of environments. And just like that, Ron, the Hedgehog Jeremy, became a household name in the adult film industry. At the peak of his career, Ron Jeremy was more than just a porn star. He was a phenomenon, a cultural icon that transcended the adult film industry. The 80s and 90s, often dubbed the golden age of porn, saw Jeremy at the helm, steering the industry into uncharted territories. Known for his average looks and everyman appeal, Ron Jeremy was a far cry from the stereotypical adult film actor. He was relatable, and this relatability propelled him to stardom. His fame was not confined within the walls of the adult film industry. It spilled over, seeping into mainstream consciousness. His name became synonymous with adult entertainment, and his image, a symbol of sexual freedom and exploration. Ron Jeremy was everywhere. His face graced the covers of magazines, his name headlined conventions, and his persona became a fixture on television and in films. He was a guest on talk shows, appeared in music videos, and even did cameos in mainstream movies. He became the unlikely ambassador of the adult film industry, bridging the gap between the mainstream and the adult world. His prolific career spanned over 3 decades, with him starring in more than 2,000 adult films. This feat earned him a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records, further cementing his legendary status. He was not just an actor, but a director too, further showcasing his versatility and influence in the industry. But perhaps his most significant contribution was his ability to normalize and humanize the adult film industry. He showed the world that porn stars were more than their on-screen personas, that they were real people with real lives outside the industry. He became a beacon for many, a symbol of hope and acceptance. However, as his fame soared, so did the scrutiny. The spotlight that once celebrated his achievements now magnified his shortcomings. Ron Jeremy's life was a spectacle, and the world watched with bated breath, waiting for the inevitable. But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. The new millennium marked the beginning of the end for Ron Jeremy. As the calendar pages turned over to the year 2000, Ron Jeremy, once a titan of the adult film industry, began to lose his grip on the fame and fortune that had defined his life for so long. His once steady stream of work started to dwindle, the roles becoming fewer and far between. The sparkle of stardom was beginning to dim, and a shadow of his former self was all that remained. Then, as if a fading career wasn't enough, the new century brought with it a wave of legal troubles. Accusations began to surface, dark tales of misconduct that painted a disturbing picture of the man behind the legend. These allegations were not to be taken lightly. They were serious. They were grave. They were accusations of sexual assault. The whispers turned into shouts as more and more individuals stepped forward, sharing their experiences, their pain, their trauma. The world was watching, and it didn't like what it saw. The once adored star was now a figure of controversy, his name synonymous with scandal. In the summer of 2020, the law finally caught up with Jeremy. He was arrested and charged with multiple counts of sexual assault. The news sent shockwaves through the industry and the world at large. The man who had once been a symbol of sexual liberation was now facing the prospect of a long stint behind bars. The downfall of Ron Jeremy was a stark reminder of the dangerous influences of power and fame. The man who had once seemed invincible was brought crashing down by his own actions. He had fallen from grace, his reputation in tatters, his legacy tarnished. The man who once stood at the pinnacle of the adult film industry now found himself on the brink of oblivion. Ron Jeremy's life is a roller coaster ride of fame, fortune, and scandal. Indeed, his life's trajectory is one that very few can relate to, yet it is a narrative that is universally understood. It's a tale of a man who, like Icarus, flew too close to the sun, only to have his wings melt away, sending him plummeting back to Earth. Ron Jeremy, born Ronald Jeremy Hyatt, began his journey as an average New Yorker, but his life took a dramatic turn when he entered the adult film industry in the late 70s. His unconventional looks combined with his charismatic personality quickly made him a sensation, catapulting him to the top of the industry. He became a household name, a symbol of the adult film industry, and a man who reveled in the spotlight. However, the spotlight can be a harsh and unforgiving mistress. With fame came scrutiny, and with scrutiny came the exposure of his personal demons. The world watched as Ron Jeremy, once the king of the industry, began his slow and painful descent into scandal and controversy. Accusations of sexual misconduct began to emerge, overshadowing his previous accomplishments and tarring his reputation. The zenith of his career was marred by these allegations, and the man who was once adored and celebrated was now vilified and shunned. Despite his attempts to deny and deflect, the weight of the accusations was too heavy to bear. His star, once so bright, had begun to dim. In the end, Ron Jeremy's life became a tale of two halves, the rise of a legend and the fall of a titan. His story is a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the importance of maintaining personal responsibility amidst the allure of stardom. From his story, we can glean several lessons. Firstly, fame and fortune are not the keys to happiness. They bring with them their own set of challenges and pitfalls, and if not handled responsibly, can lead to one's downfall. Secondly, no one is above reproach. Regardless of one's stature or status, actions have consequences, and those who misuse their power will eventually face the repercussions. Lastly, personal integrity and respect for others are paramount. Without these, no amount of fame or fortune can salvage a tarnished reputation. Ron Jeremy's story is a cautionary tale, a vivid portrayal of the highs and lows of life in the public eye. It is a testament to the fact that fame and fortune are fleeting, and that one's actions, more than anything else, define their legacy. In the end, Ron Jeremy's story serves as a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of fame and the importance of personal responsibility.